Hi everyone, my name's Mike and welcome to the video. Today's video is going to be very different to our usual ones. It's one, first of all, I'm just doing it on my own, and secondly, the bikes are a bit more modern than we normally do. But I just thought I'd do this as an experiment, see if you like it, see if there's any value in it. It's not going to be as long or as involved as the one we normally do, but I happen to be looking after a couple of bikes for a good friend of mine, Andy, and he said just take them out and use them as you want. So I took this morning, it's Saturday morning, and it's the morning of the senior TT, so I better get this wound up quickly because it's on in an hour. But what we're looking at is a Suzuki Hayabusa, first generation, and a BMW K1300S. Both really powerful bikes. I think the BM's about 180 and the Hayabusa is 190 something horsepower. So they're absolutely road burners, these things. But what I've been out today is I've just kind of done a round and about what they're kind of like using every day. Obviously I can't go out and nail them because I'd lose my license and it's illegal anyway, but just going out and just having a ride around on them, and really it's just because I got the bikes really and I thought it would be a good idea. So hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know if you don't like it. I won't do any more like this. If I do, occasionally I'll drop something in because I do have access to quite a few interesting bikes. So yeah, we're going to be doing we're picking up with Phil and Lindsay again, not next week because the weather's going to be a bit dodgy, but maybe the week after, and so we'll be fully back into the classics again. So if you like what we're doing, as usual, please like and subscribe, and with that, on with the show. Okay, so this is me riding the BMW. So comfort wise, this bike's actually really comfortable. Looks quite sporty, but there's plenty of room with the footrests, and the bars are a lot more upright than you think. This ride I'm not going to be riding it fast, as I said before. I'm on local roads here, so this is just kind of I typically ride these bikes normally. But one thing I have to say that's true of both of them, they have just got enormous amounts of power and torque. So if you look at the rev counter, I'm going nowhere near the capabilities of this bike. But this BMW is so stable. It's got the dual lever front end, which if anyone's ever heard of the Hossack front end, it's single shock and special. It's different to the suspension that you get on the GS bikes, but it's eliminates dive, and it's just so stable. It's totally unflappable. It's quite a long bike, not particularly nimble, but it's just unflappable completely. And as I said, it's just got so much power, which we're not even going to explore or go anywhere near on this video. Very comfortable sort of bike that you could just ride all day. If you want a sports tourer that can take you to the south of France without even thinking about it, this is the sort of bike. You can sit on the auto routes at fast pace. On the autobahns you can go at incredible pace. But yeah, it's excellent engine. This engine is a development of the K1300S, which was the original this modern K series engine, which was I rode one in Australia when they first came out.
and I've thought that they were really vibratory and really quite a rough engine, and I was really surprised. But apparently BMW engaged the engineering company, the British engineering company Ricardo, which has done a lot of kind of racing car stuff, and they did an awful lot of work on this bike. I don't know the details, what they actually did, but they did a lot to the engine internals, and it's now a really pleasant engine. It still feels it's quite a raucous engine, and surprisingly, it's the more angry of the two bikes. You know, you tend to think of the Hayabusa as the one that's going to have the super aggressive engine, but actually this is a bit more kind of in your face engine. Whether it's because Andy's got an Acropovic pipe on it, I don't know, but it's not particularly loud, the bike. And the other thing I noticed with it, there is a slight fueling glitch. So when you're kind of rolling on and off, and you might hear it in this, I've got the microphone under the seat, and you can hear a little bit of driveline lash as I on and off, but it is quite snatchy. Not snatchy, but it's you have to be careful with the throttle application. The other thing on this bike is it's got a quick shifter, which, yeah, I'm using it there, but I had to keep reminding myself I'm more used to riding old type bikes. But as you can see, it's got a fair bit of pace on it. You've got to be really careful to keep the speed down. But if you put this on the motorway, opened it up, you'd be the horizon would be coming at you pretty quick. But it just oozes quality, this bike. You look at it and everything is top-notch materials. This is the HP version, and I think it's a limited number of them. And it's just the componentry on it. It's just really, really good. It's built to a really high standard. It's from that sweet spot with BMW when everything was like really good. So this next bit is where I kind of open it up a little bit, and I don't open it up, but I just kind of give it its head a little bit. And you can hear me using the quick shifter. Sounds good, doesn't it? So it picks up speed quickly, and I had to roll off because I just didn't want to end up going too quick. But all in all, fantastic bike, easy to ride, easy to live with, and something that you could absolutely cover miles on. Very much a sports tourer, this bike, rather than a sports bike. So now I'm on the Hayabusa, and even though they're very similar bikes, it's quite a different riding experience. You're more in a racing position on the Hayabusa. It's not something like a GSX-R, well, it is a GSX, but it's like when I mean like a GSX-R 750 1000, it's not that radical, but it's a lot more so than the BMW. And to be honest, it actually seemed to suit the bike better. I was really comfortable riding this bike. And the other thing with it is, even though it's got this almost limitless power, it's really smooth and it carburetes fantastically. The fueling, it's almost like, those of you who are old enough to remember 4-cylinder carburetor bikes, this thing is like it's got a set of really well set up carbs on it. It just, the rolling on and off the throttle, it's just lovely. And the gear change on it, I've really enjoyed riding it. As I said, I'm more of a twin-cylinder man. I'm more of an older sort of bike, but this really surprised me how much I enjoyed riding it. And I have to say, in terms of a riding experience, I think I actually preferred it to the BMW. If I wanted to go touring, I'd take the BMW anytime. But if I wanted a bike for like an enjoyable bike to ride on Sunday morning, I'd love this. It's you can ride it slowly. It's Andy's also got a K7 GSXR 1000, which he also gave me a go on, and that's the sort of bike you can't ride slowly. It's just ridiculous. You touch the throttle and it feels like your arms are getting pulled out your sockets, which the Hayabusa can feel like, but it doesn't kind of egg you on to do it like a full-on sports bike does. It's there if you want to, but you can also ride it like I'm riding it now, and it's perfectly happy. So as an owning experience, you could own a Hayabusa and use it as everyday transport. You could also go touring on it, but I would say after about an hour or so I'd be pretty uncomfortable on it. Handling was really good. It's pretty slow because it's quite a long wheelbase, as you'd expect, but we're on pretty nadgery roads here, and it seemed to handle them fine. Obviously we're not travelling at speed, but here at there I'm in quite a high gear and it just pulls itself out of the corners, and it's almost like a relaxed ride, which is almost the antithesis of what you think a Hayabusa should be doing. So yeah, I was quite impressed with it, and again we're kind of getting slightly more opened out here. And when you do open that throttle, it's pretty powerful, and it's like, whoa, doesn't look it here, but the acceleration was quite amazing. So I was backing it off so as I wouldn't end up going too quickly. But I think it feels a little bit quicker than the BMW. I would say if you put them both up a quarter-mile drag strip, I think the Hayabusa would be the quicker of the bikes. But yeah, very very similar bikes, but quite different. Which one would I prefer? I'd probably take the BMW, because it is, it's a sort of bike you could ride every day, and it'd be a very good bike for going touring on, which is what Andy does. And I think Andy keeps this because he's had 5 or 6 Hayabusas, and he's found this one, which is in the colour he likes. It's a Mk1, and I think he's going to keep this. But again, I wind it on a little bit here, and very quickly you're kind of thinking, oh, I better back off now, because it's just going to get too stupid. But it's yeah, magnificent machine, and if you ever get a chance to ride one, have a go on it. So thanks Andy, really appreciate it, mate, and yes, I enjoyed it.